Are you ready for some questions?
Cool.
Good. As you might have seen today, if you've been following along, we have some Pokemon as our mascots. Vue.js Nation seemed like a fairy tale nation. So, what better way to segue into the Kanto fairy tale nation? The question is, if you are into Pokemon at all, what's your favorite Pokemon?
So when I was young, and I'm still young, but when I was much younger, I was a huge fan of Pikachu. I had toys with
Nice.
Pikachu. My mom bought me a lot of gadgets with Pikachu. So, Pikachu team.
Cool. Good answer. Let's get into some of the interesting questions. This one is definitely interesting. I'm sure you have
Yeah,
a
that was the most important one.
quick answer. You said you wanted Vue Storefront to be headless. If you are headless, why is Vue even relevant? Was the question from the chat.
Okay. So that's a good question, actually, because to give people context, headless commerce is referring actually to decoupling your frontend from the backend. So you can have a monolithic platform where, like, WooCommerce or Shopify, where actually everything is tied together. Or we could just use an APIs and create a backend and create a frontend in Vue.js. So actually, a proper name of calling Vue Storefront is bodiless platform for headless commerce, not the headless commerce platform. But the reality is that the e-commerce community somehow decided that this is the right naming. So this is what we are doing as well. But we keep telling people that we are a bodiless frontend for headless commerce. I hope that answers your question.
I think so. So into your talk topic today, how to survive the beginning of building your project where you're still not receiving any profit from it.
Yeah, so this is something I touched, I think, at the beginning of my talk. So basically, what I would suggest is doing this after hours or doing it inside the agency. That would be the best two models. If you're not sure if you want to fully commit, just do it after hours, because you can always go to the agency that you're working in or to any other agency, or even find an investor. But you're having a lot of freedom, you're having a lot of flexibility. You can always put your side project aside for some time and maybe regain motivation. And once you commit to something, once you started with inside an agency, once you find an investor, you probably have to keep going.
I understand. This one is interesting. For licensing open source in a profitable way, what software license do you recommend?
Well, so we have our own license for the enterprise version. For the open source version, we're just using MIT everywhere, because we believe that if we want to really contribute to the adoption, we shouldn't put any limitations. And MIT is basically licensed without limitations. I also mentioned GPL license, which is almost like MIT, but it's scoping the usage of actually maybe not usage, but selling or building products with your software to open source software. So you're sure that no one will just take your open source tool and make a profitable business out of this, which already happened in the history of open source. Docker is a great example. They were struggling to monetize, but then Kubernetes and then Docker got bankrupt.
Yeah. Thanks for answering the question. We'll go cover one last one, which is more of a not congratulations. Thank you. So great lecture, Filip. We learned not only about headless use in e-commerce, but also great tips for how to manage a startup in general. Gold tips. So with
Thank
that,
you.
thanks a lot again, Filip. We managed to get through the technical difficulties. We got to see your brilliant talk. And if people are out there getting into and looking into monetizing their project, then I think it was well worth its weight in gold, virtual weight in gold. So thanks a lot, Filip. And thanks for
Thanks so
answering
much.
the questions.
And sorry for difficulties. I think I was much more stressed than you, discouraged.
Yeah, no worries. These things happen. Have a great evening. Relax
You
and
too.
enjoy.
Bye-bye. And thanks for having me.
Of course. Take care.